Well, thanks a lot for staying with us on Newsnight on the Sunday evening. The bodies of 4 South Africans who drowned along Mozambique's coastline on Monday have now all been retrieved. Lesego Matsepe, Matolo Mogafe, David Kaise and Gregory Mfune were part of a group of 8 friends who went to Mozambique to celebrate a birthday. It's reported that a swimming adventure at the Portuguese Island went horribly wrong and that the 4 were overpowered by a wave and swept out to sea. On the line now, I'm joined by the spokesperson for the families, Bongani Diako. Bongani, thanks a lot for speaking to us this evening on Newsnight. Really not an ideal situation when it comes to the families. How much do we know in terms of, number one, the repatriation of the bodies back home?
Good evening, and first I'd like to correct that I'm not the spokesperson of the families. I'm actually a representative of the families because I'm a family member of one of the deceased. In terms of the processes, we hope on Monday all the bodies will be repatriated to South Africa.
Has there been any form of communication, perhaps with even the Department of International Relations or from even a government perspective, just in terms of keeping the families up to date in terms of where we are with the process?
No, we haven't got any communication from DICO thus far. But I'll tell you what's going to happen. On Monday, we're going to go to the embassy and we're going to ask them to help us expedite the process of repatriating the bodies. That's what's going to happen.
And from the side of Mozambique, any communication at that level to you and to the rest of the family members?
Well, I would imagine it's a country-to-country communication if there's any communication whatsoever from the Mozambican government. I'm sure if they're communicating with DICO. On our side, the officials from Mozambique were communicating to other ground forces that have been immensely helpful with recovering the bodies, doing the post-mortems and all the administrative issues relating to that.
Have they been able to piece together the puzzles? Because, I mean, I'm sure it must be devastating as family members to hear that it was a birthday celebration, it was supposed to be fun, it was supposed to be a joyful time that just ended absolutely tragically. But has there been any form of, articulation from different individuals around Mozambique who just articulate to the family exactly what happened? In other words, do you know what happened and what led to the unfortunate passing of those individuals?
As you can imagine, this is tragic. It's painful to all the family members. We're taking it day by day. What we were worried about when we got here was the possibility of us not recovering the bodies from the sea. Now that we have the bodies, I think our focus now is on the memorial services and the funerals. I think all the investigative work is not our space, our jurisdiction whatsoever, but we're waiting to hear what they tell us eventually.
Well, it definitely is a tragedy of a note, but I know that also looking at the repatriation, making sure that the families are brought back home is the major concern at this point. Do you know when all the bodies will be returned to South African soil?
Well, the bodies come from 3 different provinces. 2 bodies, the females, come from Limpopo. That's where they'll be repatriated. 1 male body is going to the Free State, and the other male body is going to Mpumalanga. We have agreed as families that tomorrow we will communicate to the public the funeral arrangements as we realize that this an issue where the public is really interested in.
All right, and very quickly, before we let you go there, Bongani, in terms of just helping and aiding the families of, to actually bury some of those family members, any form of word from government in terms of assisting perhaps with the funeral arrangements or even just, being able to have an extend a helping hand to those families that were affected?
No, not so far. We haven't gotten any commitment from government.
Well, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I can imagine quite a difficult time for yourselves as well as other families of those individuals. As you can imagine, it's those individuals, the bodies that have to be repatriated back home following that tragic accident that happened in Mozambique.